Hi everyone. So we're now moving on to the next experiment, which is taking this iPhone 15 Plus. This is the one that from the previous video that was restored after I blanked the ROM and everything, and it was reflashed by Apple during the restore process. So taking the ACE3 from this 15 Plus and putting it on this 15 Plus and see if it works. Or if it doesn't work, what are the problems? So this one I've already prepared it. You see, I've removed the ACE3. It was an SN, so this one is an SN, and this one already also had an SN. So I'm replacing basically the ACE3 chip from the one model to the same model and using the same revision of the chip. All right. So let's do that. So okay. All right, so the chip is removed. Now let's reball it very quickly. So first clean it. Apply the stencil. Apply the solder paste. Reball. Great. Remove the stencil. Reflow. Always clean your stencils before doing anything else. So that it's ready to be used next time. And then put the chip on this board. So of course, when I solder it on, it's going to get into position, but I might as well try to place it as well as possible. Okay. Okay, got the little bounce, so it should be good. And now, what should we expect? So, obviously, we should have, like, USB should not be working right away because the ROM is not matched to the ACE chip. But in the best case scenario, what I can hope for is that the same thing as in the last video happens, which is I will be able to flash the device, and during the restore, Apple will provide me with the correct firmware for the ACE3, and it will be flashed onto the ROM, and after the restore process, I will get a working device. This is my expectation coming from the previous video. So yeah, should be cool enough. I can hold it now. So let's see if this works. My eyes are not very good aligning this by sometimes I have trouble aligning these connectors. And there you go. It's in. Let's install the ambient light sensor. Right. put a screw in to hold the board in place so that it doesn't move. Connect the back glass. There you go. And try to power it on and connect it to the computer. So, well, immediately, so here you can see that the Apple appears, and I can show you my desktop immediately. My Mac has detected an iPhone in DFU mode, so now we're used to this. The phone is actually in port DFU mode, but it is not in DFU mode. As you can see here, it is actually booted. Do I have touch? Nope, I don't have touch. But if I tried with the aftermarket screen, which I didn't do here because we've already done this experiment, I would get touch. So if this phone was a phone that we needed data for, we would be able to get data through using this screen, because we would get touch, and then we would be able through Wi-Fi to make an iCloud backup or whatever. So now my phone appears in DFU mode. Let me mirror my desktop. So there you go. We're gonna flash it, but before this, I want to try and show you what it shows in 3U Tools. It also shows that it's an iPhone 15 Plus in DFU mode. The ECID here, it is actually different from the previous one. So let me see if we can find the previous one. We should be able to find this in the log. I'm not sure. I can't remember if the ECID shows up here. Yes. Okay. So that is interesting, because the ECID is actually, no wait, DBD5 6. Yeah, the ECID is actually the same as on the previous phone, even though it's not the same phone. So does it mean somehow that the ECID is actually burned inside the ACE3 chip? Hey, so that's interesting to notice. So anyway, so let's flash this. Oh, damn it. Sometimes I do have to restart the Finder. All right, let's restart it. Okay, hopefully this time. Yes, this time it works, so let's flash it. All right, so the restore went through without a problem. If you if you looked at what I was doing while it was happening, so I did Google what ECID means, because it's something that I knew it was some kind of identifier, but I didn't know what it meant. So it's the exclusive chip identifier. So it's another way to identify a phone. And you also may have noticed that I was going through 3U Tools, because in 3U Tools I can read directly the ECID, and you can see that here in device details, the ECID is now this one, which is different from the one that was showing up before when the phone was in port DFU mode. The one that was registered when I connected the phone to the computer was this one. So this, I don't know how to explain it, because remember that was another 15 plus, and the only thing that came from the previous one was the ACE controller. So putting the ACE controller from the first 15 plus onto this second 15 plus had the effect of also carrying over the ECID. So somehow this number was inside the chip. But now that the chip has had its firmware flashed, and now that it's booted completely, it seems like my computer is able to access the ECID, the real ECID of the phone, which is the one that's written probably inside the processor. And as you can see, let me change the view. As you can see, I have touch working. And obviously, I was able to show you in 3U Tools that we had USB communication. So for all intents and purposes, this phone seems to work absolutely normally, and it can flash normally, despite the fact that I took the ACE chip from another device. And you may notice, and I insist on this, I did not move the ROM, because the previous experiment showed me that normally the ROM is flashed during the restore process. So one last thing that I want to check, it's still this ECID thing. If I put the phone now in DFU mode, what is the ECID that is going to show up? Is it the one for this phone, or is it the one for the previous one? So first I want to put it in recovery mode and see what I'm getting. So 3U Tools, recovery mode. So ECID is still the new one. Okay. Now I'm gonna see in DFU mode, which is actually gonna be port DFU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm getting the DFU device showing up, and there you go. The ECID is actually the one from the older phone. So, so is that important, or is it not? I don't know, but basically here we have a device that is not functioning normally. Even though from the macroscopic point of view, when you're trying to use it in everyday life, it will work normally. You have touch, you have USB communication, you can charge, you can flash the phone, you can restore it, you can update it. But it now has a trace of the previous motherboard that it was coming from. So this proves to us that the ACE chip is actually personalized to the device that it comes from. So, but it doesn't seem to matter in this particular instance where we take the chip from one model to the same model and using the same revision, meaning that I replaced an SN by an SN. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm the first person to discover this because I've never seen anyone mention it, and I don't know if it's important or not, but this shows that Apple has a way to know that the ACE chip has been changed, because it could simply like compare the ECID in port DFU mode and the ECID when the ACE3 is booted. It might notice a discrepancy and it might refuse to flash this phone in the future. So right now we're May 26th. Apple lets us do this, but we are not sure that they will let us do it in the future. So that's basically it. So thank you for watching and see you in the next one. The next one will be what? It will be, well, this time I'm going to take, here I have this 15, I have this 15 motherboard from which I took the ACE chip. I showed it to you a couple videos earlier. I'm going to put it on the 15 Plus and we're going to see what happens. Thank you for watching.